Okay, speaking now to John Steele ahead of Saturday's game against Slough Town. John, another busy week, game of course on Tuesday, but how have your preparations gone for this weekend's fixture?
Yeah, I think that you get into a swing, Saturday, Tuesday. And I don't, me personally, I'd sooner play on Tuesdays or midweek games. I actually think they start too early. I think the first maybe 3 or 4 weeks it should be one game. I think it should be one game a week. But then I'm happy to get into the Saturday, Tuesday. I think that when the season starts, I think the Saturday and Tuesday, because it's just after pre-season, I think you get more knocks in throughout the robustness of pre-season. But I've got no problems in playing and no problems in preparing. I think that players prefer to play. It is a busy time, as I said. I think it comes a bit early, but I'm comfortable with it.
And how are you looking to set up for Slough tomorrow?
Just look at a couple of people that we've had injured. We've had a look at them today, and I think a little bit of that depends on how they feel tomorrow. We've done a bit of work on 2 ways of playing, which will depend on who's available. But I think that the games we've had so far, to be a fact, like all games, they're all tight, hinge on small moments in games. And on a couple of them it didn't quite go for us, and on a couple of them it did. I thought that in the conditions that we had last Saturday, I was very pleased with how we played away from home. And I wasn't displeased the other night. Probably not doing as much in the attacking third as we'd like, but with a great respect, we didn't have Jake. We've not got Jake. We didn't have Johnny. We didn't have Justin. That would certainly be in the forefront of our minds when we're picking a team. So yeah, I'm quite pleased. We're looking a touch more solid. We're getting into it. I don't actually subscribe to the theory that the amount of changes that we've made is influencing. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. I think that regardless of what we would have done, it just sometimes takes a little bit of a while to get into the swing of it. So I wouldn't use that as an excuse.
And in terms of Justin, Jake and Johnny, you said earlier in the week you were hoping to get them back into full training as of next week. Is that still looking on?
Yeah, I would think that they'd all be back in training next week. Jake, I think, will be a little bit behind because he had an injury that's affected his movement and whatever. So he'll be a little bit behind, but Justin wouldn't be behind. I don't see John being behind. They're both actually fit boys. They're very, very fit. Remarkably fit, if I'm being honest. They both came back in here in great shape. And I was disappointed for John because he had a little bit of a knock before the first game, and I thought he played ever so well in his first game, and he wanted to give it a go. He felt okay, not quite right at Welling, and to be honest, I have to take responsibility for that because he wasn't quite right, and I think it possibly put him back a little bit. If we'd have had Jake around, we wouldn't have had to sort of gamble him a little bit, but sometimes you have a chance, sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. But we'd be happy to get those attacking players back.
But you have had the opportunity today to bolster your squad. A name that was, of course, familiar to people over pre-season.
Yeah.
We were able to get McClure over the line this morning.
Yes, we obviously we'd had Matt in. I've had Matt before at Dagenham. So he was known to us. We're fans of Matt, and it wasn't easy. It had nothing to do with Matt. It's to do budgetary really. But I have to say the club have been brilliant to help us do that. I think they've seen that we've had 3 front people out and we're a bit more depleted than we'd like to be. But Matt, I think people saw in pre-season, is a very clever player. He's a team player, he's a talker, he's a hard worker, and I think he'd be a good addition for us, so he will certainly be included in the squad for Saturday.
And let's go back to Slough. Obviously they finished last season 10 unbeaten, picked up the first point on Tuesday, but I guess at this early stage you can't really read too much into results and form, etc.
You know what, I say it all the time, I've had sort of bad starts and like great seasons. I've had great starts and not done so great. But by and large, I've always said that, I don't know why, but I think that my teams tend to start, I think, a little bit slow. I can't remember ever really bursting out the box. A little bit slow. I think pre-season we do work incredibly hard because we're training for a season. And we do work incredibly hard, and I think we are slow starters, or my teams are slow starters, but normally strong finishers, so I'm comfortable with that.